Hey, friends, welcome back to Honestly, I'm Fine, which is still the most aggressively misleading title that I've ever committed to in my life. Like, legally, I should have to put a disclaimer under it. Fine, meaning oscillating somewhere between divine clarity and crying in your car in a Ralph's parking lot because the universe just didn't text me back. So, we're revisiting the Manifesting a New Life series, which, let me just say straight out the gate, is not really going the way that Instagram told me that it would. There are no montages. There is no glowing morning routine where I sip something green and I journal my way into abundance. There's just me in the same sweatshirt for 3 days, whispering to God, like, are we still doing this? Or did you move on? Here's the part that nobody said out loud. Manifesting is not easy. It's not vision boards and candles and pretending that you're already a millionaire while your bank account is like, ma'am, be serious. Manifesting is real work. It's internal, invisible, emotionally violent work where you are constantly catching yourself sabotaging the very thing you said you wanted. It's also brain work. It's trying to get a brain that has been living in crisis mode to believe that it is safe to want anything again. And that's something that we need to talk about. And something that people don't really explain is counter manifestation. Because yes, you can manifest your desires, but you can also absolutely bulldoze them without even realizing you're doing it. So let's just define what it means to counter manifest. Counter manifesting is when your mouth is like, I trust, I believe, I'm aligned. And your nervous system and your brain are like, hell no, we are absolutely not safe. Shut this down, everyone panic. Neurologically, it's when your conscious intentions live in the front of your brain and your survival coding lives in the back. And guess who gets priority access to the controls? It is not the girl with the journal, it's the bodyguard with your trauma file for life. It's when you ask for expansion, but you cling to control. When you say, I want peace, but you rehearse the worst case scenario like it's your side hustle. When you say you trust God, but then you check your bank account every 11 minutes like you're going to catch him slipping. And grief is like pouring gasoline on that entire system. Because when you're grieving, really grieving, not just socially acceptable version of grieving when you cry politely and then return some phone calls, I mean, you are neurologically wired for protection, not expansion. Your amygdala, the little almond-shaped fire alarm in your brain, is on high alert. And your prefrontal cortex, the CEO, the planner, the visionary, it's understaffed and overcaffeinated, and your dopamine system, that's the part of your brain that cares about motivation and reward, is like, nothing feels good anymore at all. Fuck this shit. I'm out. And your brain's like, we lost something essential and we are not doing anything risky ever the fuck again. So I'm out here trying to manifest a new life and my entire body is like, how about we don't? How about we just sit right here and stare at these walls? Because these walls are safer than your little balls of hope. And then you get mad at yourself. I'm like, why am I stuck? Why can't I move? Why am I not doing any of the things? Well, that's because my entire system is like, well, you're still in shock, you absolute maniac. I've been spiritually buffering since my birthday, which was really only on May 18th. And I feel god awful about it. Stagnant is the word I want to use, but even that feels generous. It's been 6 weeks. I've done no social media. I've done no podcast. I don't do anything except wake up, do the things the girl needs to do, take care of the dog, and go lay back down. And I binge watch Netflix to the point where there's nothing left I haven't seen. Here's where the neuroscience gets messy and very on brand. My brain has ADHD, which means that even before losing my son to brain cancer, my dopamine system was already running a little off factory settings. Motivation and focus were never just try harder things. They were, if my brain is bored, it will physically leave the room things. And now I've layered grief on top of that. Next month will mark 2 years since my son passed away. And let me tell you, the difference between ADHD brain with a dopamine system that was rewarded by taking care of a dying child functions much more spectacularly than a grieving ADHD brain. Before my life with Kingston, especially when we were fighting for his life, was basically one long adrenaline and dopamine event. High stakes, high urgency, constant problem solving, constant vigilance, constant caregiving. And that kind of crisis becomes something that your brain can associate as normal, especially when you have ADHD because it's dopamine reward all day long, all night long. So that kind of crisis became completely normal. It's brutal and exhausting, but neurologically, it's also incredibly stimulating. So then the crisis ends in the worst possible way. And the danger is technically over, but my brain did not throw a retirement party. Now my nervous system is completely primed for battle. My ADHD brain, that is used to the intensity of the hospitals and the medical decisions and that we have to act now, is suddenly staring at dishes and schoolwork like, this is it? This is what you're giving me now? Where's my boss level shit? And my brain can't take it. I'm bored out of my mind. I'm underwhelmed. I'm understimulated and underrewarded even when I complete the task. That blah that I feel, that's not just sadness and grief. It is literally my dopamine system in withdrawal. It's like I went from an IV drip of meaning and urgency, fight for your child's life, to, ma'am, please fill out this form and then manifest a better morning routine. My brain is offended. It's like nothing is ever going to feel as important as that did. So why the fuck should I get off the couch for a tax document? I didn't even clock it at first. That's the craziest part. I didn't wake up and go, ah, yes, today I enter my regression era. It has slowly snuck in. It's very subtle. It's like, I'll just rest today. And then suddenly it's been 6 weeks and you're like, do I live here now? Is this the new me? From a brain science angle, this is a perfect storm. ADHD means the brain is novelty seeking, stimulation seeking, meaning seeking. Trauma and caregiving gave me constant high stakes, maximum novelty, maximum meaning. And the loss pulled the plug on all of that. So now my brain and my nervous system has crashed, my dopamine is plummeting, and the reward system's like, nope, no joy, no future, no fucking point to any of this. So of course, normal life feels flat. It's not because people like me are ungrateful or we're broken. It's because our brain's reward circuitry has been completely recalibrated to life or death, and now anything less than life or death feels like meaningless, obnoxious static. So when my birthday hit on May 18th, which I thought I was handling extraordinarily well, like, look at me, growth, maturity, emotional resilience, I'm writing my book, I'm doing great. Meanwhile, my subconscious was loading a full-blown emotional ambush because my birthday is the same day that I learned Kingston would die. And right after that would have been his 12th birthday. And right after my birthday is Mother's Day, then his dad's birthday, then Father's Day, and then it's Death Day and Kingston's birthday. And my body remembered all of those dates coming up before my brain did. Anniversary grief is like a hidden app that runs in the background, draining your battery. You don't decide to be off. Your body is sort of time travels. Your stress hormones rise, your sleep gets really weird, your fuse gets shorter, and an ADHD brain that already struggles with consistency loses even more executive function. So guess what I did? And if you said went sideways and had a full emotional breakdown, ding, 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 you're a winner, because that's exactly what happened. I went completely batshit. Dramatically, I just went blah. Like, went out, pretended like I was celebrating for my birthday, and then after that, just rode that hangover straight into grief and depression. I shut down. I'm flat. Everything felt pointless in that very specific adult way where you still do the adult things. You answer a few texts, you show up to a few important dates, you kind of sort of function, but internally you're like, there's no point to this anymore. Neurologically, that is the combo platter. Low dopamine, high stress hormones, offline prefrontal cortex. That's executive dysfunction. That's, I know what I want to do, I can list all of the steps, and I still cannot make my body get up. ADHD brains know this feeling so well. Grief just turns the volume up on that to 300%. And that's where counter-manifesting thrives. Because you're not actively destroying your life, you're just not choosing it. You're not directing energy, you're leaking it. And your brain, once it gets used to the blah state, starts predicting more blah to protect you from disappointment. Don't get excited, don't try, don't hope, and then you can't be let down. That's not laziness, that's anticipatory defense. And I could feel myself slipping into that place where I start to feel abandoned by God, by my angels, by my guides, by Kingston, which intellectually I know is not true because my son sends me signs constantly. Hell, God sends me signs daily, aggressively. Subtle is not their brand. But when your energy drops, it's like trying to hear them while you're underwater. Your sensory system literally changes when your dopamine is low and your stress is high. Your brain filters for threats and for problems, not for beauty and synchronicities. The signs can be everywhere, but my attention is locked on what did I forget, what bill is late, why am I this way? It's still playing, you just can't receive the messages that they're sending in the same way you did before. And instead of recognizing that, I made it mean something else. I made it mean they left me, which is such a human thing to do. We experience silence and immediately we assign rejection. So I broke down. I was not cute crying. I was not aesthetic, single tear, soft lighting crying. I mean, I had a full blown collapse, the kind where your chest hurts and your face is swollen and you're bargaining with the air. And I said out loud, like a crazy person, but also not crazy at all if you've ever loved someone who isn't here anymore. Please come visit me. I need you. I cannot do this life without you. And I asked my son to come visit me in my dreams, which, by the way, is the most specific customer service request that you can make to the afterlife. I was like, dream visit tonight, no reschedule. It has to be today. And then I went to sleep and I didn't dream, which felt not great. It was like, okay, cool. Love that for me. Even in the spiritual realm, I get ghosted. No one responds. But then my daughter wakes up who slept next to me. And she's like, Mom, he was here. We were all with him. I had a dream about Kingston. He visited me in my dream. Immediately, I was like, of course you did. Of course, he bypassed me and went straight to the customer favorite. And she goes on and on telling me about how he was in the room, hugging all of us, that I was there and I was crying and just chatting with him. Then she says, so casually, like she's telling me what she wants for breakfast, he said that you have to be like a shark. You have to keep moving. Kingston loved sharks. And I just sat there because when something that specific, that aligned, that on the nose comes through, you can no longer call that stuff a coincidence without sounding like you're the ridiculous one. And suddenly I'm remembering this image that I've carried forever. It was me rubbing my son's feet when he was just a baby. These little club feet, they were just so big and fat and chubby, like didn't fit in normal shoes. And I would bicycle his legs in place. And then I pictured him after brain cancer, where he woke up and his legs didn't work, was moving his feet and bicycling them again. Keep moving is the message that I got. You have to keep moving. Even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when your brain and your body aren't talking to each other, even when it doesn't look or feel like you're making progress, you gotta keep moving. Momentum doesn't always look like momentum. Sometimes momentum looks like survival. For my ADHD and grief trauma brain, keeping moving is actually a perfect prescription. Not finish the project, not fix your life, just tiny shark-like micro movements. Because motion increases dopamine a little bit. Completing even a small task gives your brain a hit of, we did something, which starts to rebuild the reward pathways that caregiving and loss blew to pieces. And then everything from the weekend starts replaying in my head. It had been Father's Day. We went to the beach. Parking had been a nightmare, so I did what any reasonable person does. I complained internally while pretending to be flexible. And I said it quietly, not performative and not for show. God, guides, angels, loved one, Kingston, help us get in parking spots so we can just enjoy the day. Immediately, a parking spot opened. Like, instantly. And even then, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, because we are so good at minimizing the exact things that we asked for. It was beautiful, the kind of day where everything should feel good, but I sat there staring out at the ocean thinking this would be better if, which is already a dangerous thought process and a terrible sentence. This would be better if I had a bodyboard. We didn't bring one, and nobody wanted to go back to the house. Nobody wanted me to drive to storage. So fast forward, we're on the beach. Zuma is writing Kingston, his name, over and over in the sand, and she's tagging him into the day. I'm just imagining myself on this bodyboard while she does this, and I can see her out of the corner of my eye, and all I can still think about is the fact I don't have the bodyboard. And then I survey the beach. I look to my left. I look to my right. The same people had been there all morning, and a bodyboard literally appeared on the beach. I don't know if it had been there the whole time and I just didn't see it, but there was really no one else around when we got there. There were a few families nearby, but not close enough that they would have dropped it and I wouldn't have noticed. I asked them if it belonged to them, and they all said no. It was a brand new, high-quality bodyboard that literally appeared after I imagined it. Now, when I say I imagined myself on this bodyboard, I had my eyes closed, was listening to the ocean, and could literally feel myself on the board. That's how intensely I was imagining myself in the water at that moment. And when I opened my eyes, it was there. That's an example of true manifestation. Not the aesthetic version, not the curated hashtag version. That clear desire, No resistance, no overthinking, no timeline. Just a clean thought that moved through me without obstruction. And boom, it showed up. Neurologically, in that moment, my brain was in what they call a more default mode, relaxed state. Not hyper threat, not hyper focused, just daydreaming. That's actually a fertile state for new connections and intuitive hits. Spiritually, I sent a clear, uncluttered request. My ADHD brain, for once, was not doing 12 conflicting thought spirals at the same time. Here's the part that matters the most, because this is where most of us will mess this up. I didn't hold that frequency. I received the thing and then I went right back into heaviness, which is so human, but also instructive. Because manifesting isn't just about calling things in, it's about sustaining the state that allows them to arrive and to be recognized. Grief makes that incredibly hard because grief pulls you right into contraction. ADHD adds another twist. Sustaining any state is so difficult. The brain loves intensity but struggles with consistency. So you can have these big, bright spiritual moments, parking spots opening up, bodyboards appearing out of nowhere, shark dreams, and then your brain drops the thread, dopamine dips, and you're like, wait, do I believe in anything or was all of that just vibes? Manifesting requires expansion, and you're trying to do both at the same time. So what gets in the way? Emotional backlog, unprocessed pain, fear of losing again, distrust in timing, control, sleep deprivation. And on top of all of that, an ADHD brain's like, can we please just have some stimulation that doesn't involve trauma or paying bills? Honestly, sometimes just being a person with responsibilities who is like, I cannot be high vibe right now. I have to pay the bills and also find socks. So how do you do it right? Not perfectly, that's not going to happen, but intentionally. You tell the truth about where you are instead of pretending you're aligned when you're not. I'm going to say that again. You tell yourself the truth about where you are instead of pretending you're aligned when you're not. Emotionally, I'm devastated and tired and somehow still here. Neurologically, my dopamine is wrecked, my brain is confused because nothing feels as urgent as the hospital did, my executive function is limping, I'm not lazy. Spiritually, I feel disconnected, but I'm willing to be shown I'm not. You let yourself feel what's actually there because suppressed emotion doesn't disappear, it distorts. You need to create small, believable thoughts instead of jumping to delusion. You can't go from my life is falling apart to everything is perfect. Your brain will reject that. You go to I'm supported in ways I don't fully see or understand yet, or something in me is still moving even if I can't feel it or see it today. You look for evidence, but not in a desperate way. You have to look for it in a curious, almost clinical way, like, okay, lawyer brain, where did things work out that I didn't force? Where did my ADHD brain hyper-focus on caring for my child, and now that same wiring can help me build this new life? And then, and this is the hardest part, you keep moving forward. Like a shark, not because you feel motivated, not because you're inspired, but because stillness, when it turns to avoidance, starts to feel like quicksand. And here's the uncomfortable truth that I had to sit with. Part of my stagnancy might not have been cosmic. It might have been, dun 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 dun, you know what they say, your problems are of your own making. It might have been just me choosing to do nothing. Not entirely, not in a self-blaming way, but in a I checked out a little longer than I needed to kind of way. And I can say that without shaming myself because maybe I needed it. Maybe I needed to sit in sadness, to rest, to not perform healing, to not optimize my grief into something productive. Or maybe I was avoiding. Or maybe, this is the crazy part, maybe it was all of the above. Truthfully, my ADHD brain loves avoidance dressed up as research, planning, or rest. It loves to easy scroll spiritual content about manifesting instead of actually regulating my nervous system to do one tiny task that brings life forward. The brain gets the dopamine out of the idea without the discomfort of the action. And I may never really know exactly why this pause happened. But I do know this. The moment I stopped pretending that I was fine, things moved. I cried. I asked for help. Real help. Not, I trust the process while secretly panicking. I asked for legitimate help. And then that day, signs everywhere. And every day since, so many signs. unmistakable, nonstop signs. Sometimes it takes another bereaved mom to pull me out of that. I have one mom who will send me signs when I am in these kinds of funks, and it's the only thing that will make me see that I'm the one rejecting all of the communication happening around me from the other side. It's not just signs that will show up, it will be the answers to so many problems. It will be money problems being solved. Things that I panicked about last night started to align. Zuma's extracurricular activities, they're working out. It's like the second that I break down and allow myself to feel and to ask for genuine help from God and my guides and angels and loved ones on the other side, I remember my life is still responsive, my brain is still plastic, and the story is still unfolding. And that's the piece that's so hard to trust when you are deep in shit. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean nothing's happening. It might just mean that you're in the part where things are rearranging and you don't need to be all in the know and in the biz of the rearranging. You just need to be present in that space. Maybe all of it happened for a reason. And I hate that phrase. If you say everything happens for a reason to me on the street, I will punch you square in the face. But the truth is, we don't go through things for no reason at all. The reason just isn't always pretty or comfortable. It's very rarely mystical. Sometimes it's literally just my brain is recalibrating after the most intense chapter of my life, and now it doesn't know how to be a civilian yet. So if you've gone blah and your ADHD brain is so bored by regular life after caregiving and trauma and loss, if your dopamine feels like it moved to another country and left you no forwarding address, you're not broken and you're not alone. You are in withdrawal from intensity. And the fix isn't to go find more chaos, drama, and intensity or more crisis so that you can feel alive again. The fix is going to be slow, boring, holy rehab. Tiny sharks, micro movements, one task, one prayer, one breath at a time, one moment of telling the truth and asking for help, 1 second, sometimes 1 minute, sometimes you may get a full day at a time. I don't know. But you are going to reteach your brain that there is reward in the ordinary, that there is meaning in what you perceive as the mundane, that there is presence available in a parking spot and a bodyboard and a little girl dreaming of her shark-obsessed brother telling her mom to keep moving, even when you feel stuck, especially when you feel stuck. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, cool, Miley, love that your dead kid sends you bodyboards, but what the hell am I supposed to do with my life right now? This is where I stop ranting and giving you all of my backstory and actually invite you to do something with me. Because I don't want this to just be a story that you consume. I want this to be a week that we can practice something tangible together. I'm not coming to you as some healed manifestation Barbie with her shit together. Not at all. I am not that. I am coming to you, though, as a grieving ADHD, dopamine-deprived, spiritually stubborn mother who is saying, okay, fine, I will get back in the water, but come with me. So here's my invitations. For the next 7 days, can we be sharks together? We may be tiny, depressed, spiritually confused sharks, but still, we are going to keep moving. Not in a grind culture way, but in a retrain our brains and reopen the channel kind of way. I'm going to map out a simple little framework because my brain loves a framework, and you can write this down, tattoo it on your forearm, whatever works best for you. Think of it like this: feel, ask, move, notice, repeat. That's our shark practice. I'll say it again. Feel, ask, move, notice, repeat. Let's walk it up. Let's walk it out. Step 1, we feel. Once a day for 5 minutes. You can set a timer if your ADHD brain is like mine. You let yourself feel whatever is there without trying to fix it. Grief, anger, numbness, jealousy of people who still have what you've lost, boredom with your own life, whatever it is. You sit, you breathe, and you say in plain language, today I feel, and then you name it out loud. This is you telling your nervous system and your brain that I'm not going to gaslight you, I see you. We're acknowledging our emotions. That alone regulates. That alone raises your capacity to manifest anything because there's no reality without emotional honesty. Step 2, ask. Every day, one clear ask. Not a 30-item cosmic Costco list, just one thing, just to start. God guides loved ones. Help me see one sign that I am supported today. Help me find the energy to make one call today. Help me feel my child near me. Help me feel like I'm not drowning in basic life tasks. One ask, simple and direct from your actual heart, not your spiritual persona. I'm doing this with you too. I will literally be out loud in my kitchen like, okay, God, I need help with money, 3 emails, and not losing my mind at cheer practice. Pick one and surprise me. Step 3, move. Let's make one shark move per day. Not committing to 10. We're not going to do a personality overhaul. We're just going to commit to one move. This is where we rehab the dopamine and the executive function and the I'm stuck story. A shark move is a tiny action that nudges your life in the direction you say you want to go. Text the therapist, open the document, send the invoice, walk around the block, pull the bodyboard out of the metaphorical storage, like literally, go get the thing you've been avoiding that you actually enjoy. If your brain tries to tell you that's too small, it doesn't count, you can tell it respectfully to shut the fuck up. We are rebuilding natural pathways, not auditioning for a productivity cult. Step 4, notice. And here's where we retrain our filters. At the end of the day before bed, while you're brushing your teeth, while you're hiding from your kids in the bathroom, while you're journaling, whatever that looks like for you, ask yourself 2 questions. What moved today in a forward motion that I did not force? What tiny thing went my way? It might be microscopic. It might be that you got a parking space, that a friend texted you, that a bill was lower than you thought it would be, that you didn't cry during the whole meeting, that you did cry, and that was progress. Write down 3 of the things if you can. In your notes app, a messy notebook, on the back of your electric bill. That's gathering evidence for your future self that you are supported. And it's not just a Pinterest idea that support exists. It's data and it is proof. Step 5, we're going to repeat steps 1 through 4. And that's the whole thing. Feel, ask, move, notice, repeat. That's our 7-day shark experiment. This is not about becoming high vibe and manifesting a yacht in less than a week. This is about gently and stubbornly telling your traumatized, grieving, ADHD, dopamine-depleted brain that we are still alive, whether you believe it or not, little body and brain, that there is still point to this life and that we are rebuilding a life from right here. Now, before we close this out, we do have to acknowledge and talk about the part that my brain hates the most: accountability. That word alone gives me anxiety. Because I can sit here and give you a gorgeous little 5-step shark practice, but if we all just sit there, nod, cry a little, and go back to doom scrolling in bed, what changes? Nothing. Nothing will change that way. And listen, this isn't me shaming you or shaming myself. My follow through is held together by so much guilt and the iPhone reminders app that I swipe away constantly without completing the task. Grief plus ADHD means that my brain is basically a very loving, very traumatized golden retriever. It's loyal, it has big feelings, it's easily distracted by a leaf. You cannot just say, be accountable, and expect that dog to balance your checkbook. So here's how we're going to hold ourselves accountable in a way that our actual nervous systems and our brains can handle. First, we make it communal, not a secret. If you're doing this Shark Week with me, and this isn't Shark Week that you watch on TV, because that's not really forward movement now, is it? We're talking about Shark Week by taking 5 steps of action. If you're going to do this with me, tell someone, text a friend, or if you're like, I don't have a person for this, then tell me, slide in the DMs, comment, send a smoke signal, whatever. Say, I'm in, I'm doing it, I'm doing Shark Week with Miley. And ironically, we're coming up on Shark Week and Kingston's birthday, and he loves sharks, and Shark Week is always on his birthday. You see where I'm going with this? This is not an accident that I put it off this long. This was meant to be my Shark Week during the upcoming Shark Week. You see what I'm saying? It's everywhere. But why are we doing this? Because our brains behave differently when someone else is watching. Not in a creepy surveillance way, but more in the way it's like I'm not hallucinating this experience and I can't think it away. I can't pretend I never committed to it if I'm putting it out there. Second, we lower the bar until it's borderline disrespectful. Your only job is to not have a 0 day. Don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a glow up day. Just don't do nothing. One feeling moment, one ask, one move, and one thing you noticed. If all you do on Tuesday is sit on the edge of your bed and admit, today I feel numb, I miss my kid, and I'm tired of trying, that's not failure. That's you being emotionally accountable to your actual life. Third, we make it visible. Write Shark Week on your mirror. Draw a terrible little shark and tape it to your fridge. Put SAMNR. Feel, ask, move, notice, repeat as your phone wallpaper for a week. ADHD rule. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. So if we put the practice where our eyes already go, we can't pretend we didn't commit to it. Fourth, we do a gentle check-in outside of a giant self-audit. At the end of the day, don't ask yourself, did I do enough? That question is a trap, and the answer in grief will always be no. Ask yourself, where did I show up for myself today, even a little bit? Did anything move that I didn't force? And if the answer is, I breathed through one wave of pain instead of slamming the door on it, that counts. You are accountable to your humanity, not some imaginary healed version of you who never forgets to meditate and always has clean laundry. Neurologically, this is how you rebuild neural pathways in your brain, especially if you're over the age of 35. It will take constant repetition. Our brains need visible reminders and wins and other humans to bump up against. So here's the official invitation. Do this with me for 7 days, starting whenever you hear this. We're being sharks together. Every day, feel something on purpose. You ask for one specific kind of help. You move in one tiny way that moves you forward towards the life that you imagine for yourself. And you noticed even the smallest sign that you're being supported. And then repeat those steps. If you want to take it further, grab a notebook, write Shark Week at the top. Yes, I'm aware, Discovery Channel took that, we've established that. And they can fight me if they want to, but jot it down each day. What did you feel? What did you ask for? How did you move? What did you notice? If something wild happens, a sign, a dream, a weirdly timed parking space, a metaphorical bodyboard dropping into your lap, please tell me. I'm dying to hear about it. Tag the podcast, tag me on Instagram. I'm on all of the platforms. Not because we need proof that the other side is real, though it's nice to have, but because our nervous systems and our brains that we are retraining need to see each other surviving and doing the same things as one another. We need community. I'm going to be doing this in real time. I'm not above you in this work whatsoever. I am neck deep in it with you. So this week, when you feel yourself slipping into blah, into that flat, what's the point, everything is gray place, I want you to hear Kingston's line through Zuma, through me, through your headphones. Be a shark. Keep moving. Never, ever give up. Not perfectly, not gracefully, just one more tiny, inconveniently hopeful step. And we'll check back in on how Shark Week went in about a week. Until then, honestly, I'm not fine, but I am moving. I'm working towards fine. All of that counts. And if anyone asks you how you're doing, you can answer them honestly. I'm not great, but I'm moving. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm still swimming because I'm a motherfucking shark.
Forecast set endless blue. Flip-flop sunscreen on my nose. Then the sky cracks silver lines running through my clothes. Warm drops on my phone screen, dripping down my playlist art. You laughed as it soaked my hair. Said, guess we needed a fresh start. Let it pour on the sunny town. All this upside falling down. Salt and sweet where the rivers roll. It's like water for your soul. I cry when I'm happy, laugh when I break. Storm in a desert, every feeling's an earthquake. Dancing in puddles where the dry heat used to glow. Yeah, the sky gets heavy when my heart feels full. It's like water for your soul. Heat waves in the strip mall, glass mirage of some cooler place. But the clouds roll in uninvited, smudging all the neon paint. We're soaked through our fake plans, mascara tracing tiny streams. You say, why does joy hurt too? I say, guess it's how it cleans. Let it pour on the sunny town. All this upside falling down. Salt and sweet where the rivers roll. It's like water for your soul. I cry when I'm happy, laugh when I break. Storm in the desert, every feeling's an earthquake. Dancing in puddles where the dry heat used to glow. Yeah, the sky gets heavy when my heart feels full. It's like water for your soul. bloodshot days, sun icons in every row. Still the rare gray sneaks in like a secret only we know. You say, will this clear the air? I say, hope it floods the doubt. If the tears come on a good day, let them fall and rinse it out. I cry when I'm happy, laugh when I break, storm in a desert, every feeling's an earthquake, dancing in puddles where the dry heat used to glow.